Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market, and there's always something to say, but this Tuesday is for talents, is for young players, is for wonderkids madness. This is our video of the morning, and so let's jump into it today. And here we are guys, always to keep you updated, and this morning we have important updates. Let me start with an exclusive news coming a few minutes ago on my phone. I can tell you, if you remember what I told you already, it was around Christmas. I think it was day 26th of December. I told you Oscar Bobb is expected to leave Manchester City on a permanent deal in this January transfer window following the arrival of Antoine Semenyo. That was my information, no Savigno. The name to watch for this January window was always Oscar Bobb. And today I can tell you Fulham are very close to signing Oscar Bobb on a permanent deal from Manchester City. Yes, because Fulham have made a verbal proposal to Manchester City and is close to being agreed for £35 million package for Oscar Bobb. Why Oscar Bobb leaving? Because at the moment at Manchester City there are several players in that position. Winger, they added Antoine Semenyo to the squad. And also, if you see what Pep Guardiola said yesterday in press conference, he was also not so happy with the situation around Oscar Bobb, so it's very clear they have to part ways in this January window. And despite many rumors, now Fulham are going all in for this one. They have a deal almost agreed with Manchester City and negotiating on player side. So still some work to do on player side, but Fulham optimistic to get it done. And then there is Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund, already mentioned by me on day 26th of December, because they are targeting Oscar Bobb, but they have to understand if financially they can make this deal happen. So Fulham are ready to close the deal with Manchester City. The player is waiting to see what Borussia Dortmund can do. So let's follow the situation between Fulham and Dortmund, but Fulham are going very, very strong for Oscar Bobb, and it's a really, really interesting situation to follow. On the other side, let's see what Borussia Dortmund can and want to do for Bobb, because they are aware of this possibility again since December, and now it's on them to communicate something to the player, to his agents and to Manchester City in terms of negotiations, because Bobb will leave Manchester City in this January window and it was never in doubt. And then another story, and it's about Ethan Nwaneri, Arsenal gem, Arsenal talent, because after several calls, I can tell you about Bournemouth trying, I can tell you about Crystal Palace trying, I can tell you about Borussia Dortmund calls, I can tell you about Italian clubs calls. Now Ethan Nwaneri is on the verge of joining Olympique Marseille. The Here We Go is coming. The deal, from what I understand, is almost done. Just some final details to sort, but Nwaneri is ready to say yes to Olympique Marseille move. Also approved by the player, by the agents, and by the family of the boy. So they are really, really involved in the career of Ethan Nwaneri, his family, also his father, and they are really approving this opportunity to go out on loan and to go to Olympique Marseille. Picking among several clubs interested. Why Marseille? Because the style of play has been approved by Arsenal directly. Very good relationship between Mikel Arteta and Roberto De Zerbi. My understanding is that Arteta and De Zerbi spoke directly about this possibility already in the last 24 hours, and now Nwaneri to Olympique Marseille is really, really close. Again, Here We Go, I think, is coming very soon. The deal is almost done for Ethan Nwaneri to join Olympique Marseille. And this is a separate story from Quinten Timber. I told you yesterday, exclusive news, Quinten Timber to Olympique Marseille, and this deal is almost done. Also, for a transfer fee around 4 million euros plus add-ons to Feyenoord. Just waiting to sort some details, and then will be Here We Go. And then Marseille also want a creative player. And this is why they are advancing on this deal for Ethan Nwaneri. Marseille will pay the whole salary of the player till the end of the season, plus a really important loan fee, around 3-4 million euros for 6 months as a loan fee, but this loan fee will change based on the games played by Ethan Nwaneri for the next 6 months. So to incentivize Marseille to play the boy as much as possible, because Nwaneri is going on loan, obviously, to play. Remember, no buy option clause included in this deal. So Nwaneri will be back to Arsenal in the summer. This is the plan, and everything is very close to getting completed. More on talents. Paris Saint-Germain and Barcelona will be in contact this week to close the deal for draw. Yes, there is the release clause, 6 million euros, but Paris Saint-Germain, for relationship with Barcelona, also want to talk to Barca before activating the clause. They have an agreement with draw, and so we wait for these formal steps ahead of the deal done for draw to Paris Saint-Germain. So the two clubs will speak ahead of the transfer. Then, Wonder Kids and Talents, the name of Diomande returns in your questions and in the news, always, because Diomande is one of the best young wingers in the world, for sure, but Red Bull Leipzig insist that they want to keep the player. So, despite Manchester United sending their scouts again to follow Diomande, despite Tottenham being ready to do business now, in January, immediately, with important financial proposal, the intention of Diomande also is to understand the situation on the market, but Red Bull Leipzig want to keep the player in January. Red Bull Leipzig insists that Diomande will not leave in this January window after they made important money already in the summer. They are not looking for money. They sold Šeško, they sold Openda, they sold Xavi Simons. So now Diomande is staying at the club in January. This is the message from Leipzig, but in the summer it's going to be a crazy battle. And again, Man United are sending their scouts, Tottenham as well, Paris Saint-Germain also are following the boy closely, so it's going to be a big battle for sure for Diomande. And then don't forget about Kees Smit, because the market behind the scenes is moving around this talented midfielder from AZ Alkmaar. As I told you, Jorge Mendes, the Portuguese agent, is in control of the situation in this January window and also for the summer transfer window. My understanding is that, again, in January, the intention is not to move the player. So a move in January is really unlikely, despite Newcastle trying, because Newcastle tried and tried again. For Kees Smit, my understanding is that now the deal is really unlikely. But in the summer, the big battle is ready, because Real Madrid are following the boy, Premier League top clubs are following the boy, so it's going to be a battle, really, for Kees Smit. Premier League, Real Madrid, and not only. Jorge Mendes in control, and again, I repeat my understanding. Forget about 40 or 45 million euros. It's going to be way more for this boy to leave AZ Alkmaar. Also because the club are not desperate for money. This is why they are not accepting proposals in this January transfer window. But there is a lot of attention in Kees Smit. And so after Nwaneri to Olympique Marseille, after Oscar Bobb situation with Fulham going all in, and let's see what Borussia Dortmund will decide, Diomande, draw and Paris Saint-Germain, one of the names to follow for sure in the wonderkids market in 2026 is going to be Kees Smit. Get ready, because it's going to be a completely crazy transfer window in the summer around this midfielder. And so guys, I'm your thoughts on all these stories. Nwaneri and Olympique Marseille, loan, no buy option clause, your opinion on this move. And then Oscar Bobb, Fulham, Dortmund, how do you see this 35 million pounds deal for Manchester City? And then Diomande, draw, Kees Smit, your opinion guys. Here in the comments, remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon, as always, here with Fabrizio. Ciao.